I'm here with Ben Gearing, one of the directors at Colliers International, who are pioneers in CBD apartment market. Thanks for joining me, Ben.
Thanks, Navin. Pleased to be here.
We're going to focus on the Melbourne CBD apartments and the market outlook. Ben, being at Colliers, you guys are the best in the industry in terms of selling. You guys have sold many apartments in the CBD. In terms of the outlook for the CBD apartment market, what do you foresee for the next few months in 2021?
Navin, that's a good question. I think that the market, where we saw it from last year, obviously coming off the back of the June to September quarter, we saw a bit of a dip in prices nationally.
Yeah.
And we predicted back then that we would, by the end of 2021, we'd have seen the market come right back to probably 10% growth. And since that time, we've been tracking along at about 1.1 to 1.5, give or take, monthly growth.
Yeah.
So we're on track to beat that prediction. The market has performed much better in the first half of the year than many people would have suggested. And we can see that that's going to continue. And what that's done, obviously been driven by the established market and a lot of the owner-occupier market. A lot of the investors have now come back and they've seen what's happening in the market, and now they're looking for opportunities. Where do they need to invest? Because they see that the market's strong.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of the CBD, we understand there's a land scarcity at the moment. There's no land to build any more buildings, and
Correct.
apart from what's coming up until 2023, 2024. What sort of impact this would have on the developers and the projects to come in the next few years?
Yep, quite right. There's very little room for residential development in the CBD,
Yeah.
the traditional CBD, that obviously the Hoddle grid, as it's called. But what that's done is we've already seen prices increase quite significantly, as well as with increasing construction costs and what have you. But land values have not come off at all, all through COVID. Sites have still been transacting, commercial sites have been transacting at high prices. And you mentioned 2023, when the current projects that have been launched are completed in 2023, and there's nothing due for completion after that at this stage, we anticipate that borders will be open again, and things will have our overseas market flying again, with the tourists coming in, but also the education market and migrants in general. But we can see a lot of pressure coming on what is going to be a very limited supply of apartments in the CBD.
Yeah.
So we're going to see prices in terms of purchase prices going up, but also rents, a lot of pressure on rent.
Correct. We have also talked about Melbourne CBD South. As we are running out of space over here, it's natural to get these buildings out somewhere. What is the outlook for CBD South?
Yeah, the CBD South's an interesting area that we've been working on now for some time. But as I said, the finite area of the traditional CBD means that the state government needed to identify an area where was the extension of that CBD going to be, and that includes retail, it includes education, it includes hotel and residential areas.
Yep.
And the CBD South area, which is really just across the Yarra, really what's South Melbourne, between South Melbourne and Port Melbourne, really. Which are established suburbs where local Melburnians enjoy living, and there's a desire and a demand there already. That really has been identified as that area.
Right.
And there's already been schools. The New South Melbourne Primary School's been approved in there. There's the Fisherman's Bend College is going to be in there. We've got a lot happening down there.
Yeah. And on CBD South, what are the developments which have been planned out for the growth of that area?
Look, as I said, we've already seen the opening of the South Melbourne Primary School to cater for the increased residential capacity down there. Probably the most exciting project that we've been involved in down in that space is Our Iconic Melbourne by renowned developer, local developer, R Corporation. They've got a strong track record of delivering quality projects, never had a project that's failed to be completed. And they launched it pretty bullishly last year at the start of the pandemic, and it was the best-selling project in Australia last year. We had a great result. Investors and local owner-occupiers alike have bought in there. It's a project with around 800 apartments and a 5-star hotel,
Wow.
full-line supermarket, and the most amenity in terms of common facilities for the residents to enjoy of any project that Melbourne's seen.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing project.
Fantastic. When you talk about CBD, most people talk about the rentals and the dip in rentals during COVID. While we are coming out of it, what is the outlook which you foresee for the next couple of years? While we are opening the borders, would the rental markets come back up again? What is your outlook?
Yeah, look, we're confident that they will, and we've already seen signs of that in the market now. So during last year, obviously the borders closed and the students that weren't here already couldn't come back.
Yeah.
And so there was a dip in the rents, and there has been a dip in the rents, and they're not back to where they were. We can't hide from that. But what we've seen, though, is quite interesting. A lot of the market has been taken up, a lot of that stock has been taken up by local Australians who have traditionally lived in the suburbs and have maybe thought that living in the CBD was too expensive for them, or maybe that they just hadn't done it. But now they've seen the opportunity to come in, they're taking up that vacancy. And I think that that's going to add to the pressure when the borders do open, that the overseas student market in particular that come in, they'll probably be the first wave of CBD dwellers that come back and want to resume where they were living before, that for the best high quality buildings in the city, there's going to be a real pressure on stock there. And we're going to see rents come back, I think, pretty quickly.
And if you look at Melbourne as a whole, especially the CBD, what sort of infrastructure projects is going on? Those never stopped, even during the pandemic.
Yeah, quite right. Obviously we've got the Melbourne Metro Tunnel that's going through the CBD and linking the Parkville area to the Domain area in the south, just south of the CBD. The new train stations. We've got the Westgate Tunnel project, I think the Northern Link that's linking up the M80 down towards the Eastern Link, the East Link. The level crossings, the projects, which has been a huge success. All of these, as well as the new stations out to the west, the new train stations out to the west, these have had a double effect, I think. One is that it's kept the economy going along. As you said, they didn't have to stop through COVID, at the worst of COVID. And the benefits that people who buy in the regions or the areas that are directly affected by those, in terms of where they will get significant uplift and significant benefit from those. Studies have shown consistently that where a property that was within a kilometre of a new station, they outperform properties outside that radius by about 15%. So the benefits for investors will be massive, I think, with the amount of projects that are on foot already.
Thank you so much, Ben. The key takeaway for me was we are coming out of the pandemic, and the outlook is fantastic as long as you can hold on to a property in the long term.
Correct.
There's so much to grow. There's so much of scarcity in the land in CBD. In the long term, it's definitely, we're on a growth trajectory, I think.
Yep. Agree 100%.
All right, there you go. The Melbourne CBD market. Please feel free to ask any questions at all you might have from Ben or myself, and we are more than happy to answer any of your questions.
Thanks.